Haunted Trails Behind the Scenes panel. We are going to talk about kind of a little bit of everything about our haunted trail. So it's called Drachenmoor. It is a little haunted trail, like walking path in Joplin, Missouri. It's about a quarter mile. It's all family friendly, so it's good for kids, grandmas, whoever. And it's kind of like a Christmas walking trail, but it's all Halloween. I've got some pictures here of all the stuff we do. We've got kind of sections and scenes. We've got like a pirate scene. We've got a big laser pond. It's all lit up. It's at nighttime, so there's lights and stuff. And we've got like all sorts of props that we've made and we've purchased and modified and things like that. Here's a little bit more. We've got Oogie Boogie over here. We've got a giant inflatable custom-made castle that you walk through. And inside is Oogie Boogie's lair. We've got an actor in there in an Oogie Boogie suit, and then all the props in there we've made. It's also like UV reactive. It's super cool to be in there. We've got a display with, how many pumpkins do we even have now? Yeah, probably 100 different like carved pumpkins there, like the foam pumpkins, so they last each year. We can bring it back out. And we've got them all strung up with lights. Although lately we've been putting like tea lights in them at the beginning of the season and like setting the timer and letting them do that. We've also got like a section where there's hanging skeletons and stuff. That's kind of in the pirate area. And then we've got some really neat, we've had some wood carvers come and transform some of our trees into really neat sculptures, and we painted them. So, how we got started, you probably know more about this than I do.
Sure.
So it's been around for about 25 years, so it's older than me. And it was just like a little tiny Halloween display in their front yard to attract trick-or-treaters, because it was just kind of like a dark neighborhood, I guess, and no trick-or-treaters showed up, so like, hey, let's do this.
In fact, I think I see you in the background of that right picture there.
Yeah, actually, that's me right there.
As a child.
In my little Spider-Man costume.
Child, you.
Yup. So it just started out small like this. Those are handmade gravestones. That witch right there was, I think she's made out of like a fan. Yeah, like one of those rotating fans, and she would look around at people. Unfortunately, she has not lasted 25 years, but she lasted quite a while. But all the props started out like completely handmade. Yeah, and it's moved. They started at one house, then we moved to this house right here. You see in the pictures, and then it's moved to the house that we're currently at now with a huge yard that we can do cool stuff.
We have about 3 acres of space we can decorate.
Yeah. Here's some pictures of like the beginning of how it all started. You can see we got some, that wood over there is like driftwood that we got, I think. And we kind of doctored it up and made like a creepy little forest. And that's my mom and dad there. If you didn't know, this is my dad. He's Dan the Wizard Man. He's the one who started Drachenmoor. He's done all of this. He does all the building and whatnot. So that's them just when it first started. And then there's some more of the gravestones. And actually, a lot of the gravestones from way back then have lasted. This is one of our newer gravestones. And it's just made out of foam.
Okay, sure. So the stones were one of the quick, easy things to make that helps us fill out the space. But these are made of like a real high density, just like a pink or a blue foam that you can buy at Home Depot. And they're really simple to make. What you do is you just carve out your basic shape, and then where the lettering is, take Elmer's glue and draw in the lettering, let it dry up real good, and then you just flame the whole thing with a torch, just really briefly. It sinks back, it makes this cool, lovely rock texture, and it's just kind of a matter of faux painting. And this stone is probably at least a decade old, and that's the decade of being outside.
It's from 2012.
No, it's even longer than that.
Yeah.
They really hold up really well. They're durable. They're light. They don't take a lot of room to store because you can stack them up. So, and we like this. This is kind of the
Right.
So we've always made a freedom community, and we've gotten a lot of community support over the years. So it's really, really busy these days.
Yeah, really, really busy. So yeah, over the years, our mission has kind of changed because started out attracting trick or treaters, and like you said, now it's like something for everyone to do, something for kids to go to. And in the early days, we had 100 people come through the yard, and we're like, oh my gosh, that's so many people to come trick or treating. And now we get like 2,000, maybe more. I don't even know how many. We stopped keeping track, but we get so many people through the yard, and we're open for about 2.5 weeks before Halloween, leading up to Halloween, and then we're open on Halloween. We do like trick or treats and stuff. And there's so many people that come through. So a little bit more of the behind the scenes aspect, getting set up. So it takes about 5 weeks to get completely set up, and it really isn't completely done until Halloween. We're always tweaking things like throughout the season. We start out by setting out the inflatables because we've got a massive open yard area that we fill up with inflatables. There's kind of like a floodplain, so we can't put permanent props in that area. So our solution was to put inflatables because we can easily pick those up before a storm comes. And so this is kind of like some of our daytime pictures. You can see some of our carved pumpkins. We're trying to, we change up the setup every year usually, so we change up how we have them. And over there is our big dragon castle inflatable. We custom commissioned him. And then the front building, which is the really cool part, I think. Like I said, everything in the very beginning was just handmade. We didn't really buy anything, or if we did, it was completely modified.
So what we have in the pictures here on the left, the left is a cat bus, that I did over.
Yeah, that's it.
The cat bus is actually bigger than life size. It's probably 35 feet long and about 16, 18 feet tall.
Yeah, the cat bus would fill up a big chunk of this room. He's massive. He's bigger than a school bus.
And it's not Halloween, but I like cat bus. So. The spider here in the center, that spider hangs from a tree, and it's on like a hoist, so it goes up and down. It travels about 25 feet up and down to the ground. So when it goes by, it's like it's coming down to get you. And then on the right picture there, that's a bottom swell that we made. Those are fairly easy prop to make. You can find instructions online to make those. They use a piece of two-way glass, and then you put a mirror in the bottom and a light bulb, and then the shine from the bounces the light in between gives you that effect of the bottom swell.
And that was one of the really cool ones. I did a big set of this.
So these guys, I made these guys about 15 years ago when those pictures in the front. So now you can actually, if you've got big cash, you can buy original figures kind of like these here and there. But these I sculpted these from a clay and made molds and cast them out of latex and from scratch. It was quite a large summer project.
Yep, they're all hand painted. They're made out of latex. Some of them now they're kind of reaching their age, ready to make new ones.
They're pretty well falling apart at this point.
Yeah. How many gremlins did we have in total?
I think I made 8 originally.
Yeah, 8. And they were all different, unique gremlins doing different things.
The one all the way on the left bottom there, that's the brain. He has animatronics in his head so that he would be at the front gate and be the rule giver. So he would stop you when you came in, he would talk and tell you the rules of what's going on.
Yeah, we used to have time, because there were so few people, he would do a whole display. He was on a little mad scientist area. We had the, what is that, the shocking thing called?
Jacob's ladder.
Yeah, Jacob's ladder. One of the one of the crystal ball things. It was a really neat setup, and we would limit people from getting backed up in the yard by having him give his little speech, and he would move his mouth and tell people the rules. It was really cool. Now we kind of just have to. We have a couple people up at the front gate, and some more props. So those weird stumpy looking things are actually, what would we call those? What are they?
Fart fountains?
Yeah, fart fountains.
Those are props that go in the bog of eternal stench.
Yeah, we created a bog of eternal stench from Labyrinth. We made a giant Rudo prop, and he kind of stands and he rotates like that, and he says, "Ooh, smells bad." And we've got these fart fountains, and we've got a bridge that you go over, and so you walk over the bridge, and these things are making fart sounds, and they've got a little bit of a smell. It's not too bad, but it's kind of sticky. And then up in the right corner up there are some of the bats before we finish painting them for Oogie Boogie's lair. Because those are all, they're like just carved out of foam, and then we went over and added like some UV reactive paint to them. And then over here we've got the book shed, which
Library.
it's a library.
And why do we have a library?
We have a library because we have books, and that's the author over there. She started this series of children's books. It features the characters that are in the yard, and it's. Do you want to talk about it?
I write stories to teach children life lessons using the characters of Drachenmoor. I feel as I'm very fortunate that I have such a wide array of characters to choose from and tell their stories through books. So that's kind of, I'm a counselor, so I've told these stories for years and years to children I counsel. It's kind of cool. So, and we have movies coming out and just all books.
Yep.
In full disclosure, she's my mother too.
It's a family business. So here's some more. Here is the construction of our big bridge. That's kind of the early days, and then right there, that middle picture is kind of the finished bridge, and for Halloween we put that skull archway over it. It's a permanent structure. I mean, you can probably tell that. But we have that all year round, and then for Halloween we decorate it, and we have like kind of lasers underneath, and it looks like water, but it's lasers. It's really like a cool fog effect. And then over here is our gazebo witch's hut thing, which is also another permanent structure that we made for Drachenmoor, but it just stays all year round. We usually have a fortune teller in there, or sometimes it's just like a little walkthrough area. It's everything we have is like volunteer based, so we don't have a fortune teller every night, or we don't have like certain actors every single night. But yeah. Making a life-size dragon. So this is Saphira. She's about 15 feet tall, and she has a wingspan of 18 feet. Her wing actually, it folds up like this normally, and then it stretches out over the driveway like this, and that's where her wingspan comes from. So she's our gate. She took 16 months to build. It was a long process. Her color is actually made up of crushed recycled glass. Yeah. And it's made up of a lot of it. And then she's got a really cool fog jet in her mouth. So most of the year she's just static and her mouth is either closed or open. But for Halloween we rig her up so that her mouth opens and she shoots fog at you. It's super cool, and it's not just like a little bit. It's like a massive cloud of smoke. It's really cool. Yeah. Oh, it's so dark you can barely see it. This is kind of some of the pictures of our construction. Up here was the clay model that kind of started it all. That's what she was based off of. We were thinking of having a tail on the other side of the driveway, but it didn't really work out that way. So it's just her like coming up out of the ground, and then she's got her wing. And you can see the wing there, and they're being painted in the shop there. And then these two on the bottom are the mechanism inside of her. She's built with, well, you probably know more about her actual construction.
Yeah, so obviously the moving parts of the big steel structure, the wing is steel, but then the enclosure is big blocks of styrofoam that are carved to shape, and then on top of the styrofoam went a layer of fiberglass, kind of like a boat
she's huge. I mean, her head is like this big. She's a real life-size dragon.
It's hard to see from these pictures. You can kind of see a little bit on the bottom left. She has crystals embedded along her spine, along her nose there. It's some amethyst and some outside.
Yeah, she's got a ton of different like details in her head.
Bees? Sorry.
Oh, they're fine. What were you
Is
asking?
it like a piece that you put on the dragon?
No, it's all epoxy. So it's I used the fiberglass to create a hard shell to put on top of, and it's on top of the styrofoam. And then putting all the stuff on, what I had to do is I had to make sheets of the like take some epoxy and mix it up with the glass so that you end up with a sheet maybe 2 feet by 2 feet. And then when it reaches the state where it's not quite hard but just flexible enough, then you glue it onto it so you can conform it to the shape. So it's really tricky. Covering her took about a month.
Yep. And that little bottom middle picture there is actually like the mixer that he used to make the kind of mixture of the glass. I think we've got some more pictures in that too. Oh. Yeah, so you can see her fiberglass thing there. There's her in the middle there without her jaw. They had just put her in, and taken her on the bobcat and stuff. So yeah. The books again. We're going out of order. Yeah, so like we said, Gail has written a series of children's books, and we release pretty much one every single year, give or take. And 2019, yeah, so there was a little break in there. But yeah, I helped illustrate the first couple, and then I consulted on illustrating for the other two. I don't know what to say about the books. They're really neat. They're a good children's book series. They teach good life lessons. Each of them has like a good like lesson to it, about, it's got each of the characters, and you can actually see the characters that are in the books in the yard. Like, first one on the cover, you can see that's Saphira, and then we've got Isabella, who's a little green dragon that we have, and then we've got like the skeletons and the gremlins and the little black cat, and we've also got an owl puppet, and then we've got Isabella's Wish, which features that wishing well that we made 25 years ago, so it all kind of comes together. Our live actors and costumes. So yeah, we open up for volunteers. We don't have any like permanent actors really. The only people that are permanent are us. And we invite people to come and play like whatever character will fit in our yard. We usually have a troupe of like people that come and dress up as pirates, and they interact with people in our pirate area. We've actually got a barrel that shoots fog at people, like it shoots smoke rings. And they love to fire that at people coming down the path. That's really fun and interactive. And then of course we like to wear a different costume every single night, because why not? I mean, it's like Halloween, but over and over and over again. And we've even got some people in like little inflatable costumes and stuff that we purchased. So yeah. And here's some more we've got. We had to get a Totoro to go with the cat bus, who is also life-size. He's like 7 feet tall, maybe.
Yeah, you can't tell from that picture, but his ears are about to touch the ceiling in a standard room. So.
Yeah. And then we've got our actors inside the Oogie Boogie lair. He's in there every once in a while, and then his kids actually came in and played Lock, Shock, and Barrel for a little bit. So you never really know what you're going to get when you come in, because we have different actors every night. We did a night where we did like a vampire Royal Victorian ball type thing. And then I've got our fortune teller over here. She does a different outfit every night too. So. And hosting the local furry community. So, when was it? 2021 is when we started it. It was when I had really first started getting into the fandom. I had made my fursuit name here, and I wanted to have like more interactions with other furries, because in the Joplin area there really wasn't anything. it was, eh. And I was like, you know what, this is the perfect opportunity to do something. So I think I just put like a message out on like Facebook and in like the Missouri Kansas Discord. And I think you two were at the very first one, weren't you? They were just, yeah. Oh yeah, you were too. Yeah, you were.
I can back there.
I didn't see you back there, but just a few people starting out, and now it's grown. 12 doesn't seem like a big number, but it really is to us. Like, you can see our big group photo. That's from last year. Yeah, we got people from Kansas City, Rolla, Springfield, a lot of Springfield people. Yeah, so people like literally drive 3 hours just to come to this little like Halloween trail that's only open for like 2 hours a night. And it's a really unique fursuiting experience.
It's a very intense 2 hours.
It is a
2
very,
hours.
yeah. So that picture up there is from our very first meet. We actually didn't get a group picture because it was the first time I ever did like a fur meet. And I didn't know what I was doing, so I didn't think to get like a group picture beforehand. I was like, oh yeah, we'll just get one afterwards. Well, people ended up having to like leave early because they had to drive home or they got too hot or whatever. So I've since learned that we get the group picture before, and then people can leave whenever they need to. And you don't have to like gather everyone up at the end. It's just easier like that. But I did end up getting that little picture of us in the very beginning. Each of those in front of the dragons is a different year. You can see the group grow a little bit year by year. This little picture down here with the 4 of us, actually all of those, are from, what year was that? That we had that it got destroyed.
It was the year before we got the castle. We had a windstorm come through and it just tore the heck out of everything.
Yeah,
So we had to be closed, but we had already invited a whole bunch of fursuiters to come, and so they showed up and we were closed.
Yeah.
So we stood out by the road with all the
Yeah.
lights off and just waved at people as they drove by and said we're closed.
Yeah, you didn't go there, so yeah. But yeah, we had like a special like castle area that we would stand in front of, and we had lighting because it's hard to see fursuits in the dark. So we had special lighting from the trees in that specific area, and the windstorm just ripped it apart. It was like a facade of a castle, and then there was a tent behind it, mangled tent. It was bad. Like we couldn't clean it up in a night, and we already had people like fursuiters driving all the way from Rolla and stuff. And when that happened, they were already on the way. So we were like, what are we gonna do? So we ended up, we stood in front of Saphira at the end of the driveway, by the road, so people would drive by. We had the rest of the lights in Drachenmoor turned off, so people didn't think that it was open. And we still got a ton of people. They would stop and they would park their cars. They would get out and take pictures with us and interact. It was great. It was a really really fun time. And this is like a different kind of fursuiting experience. It's not like shooting in a con, and it's not like public shooting. It's not like just going to a mall or a park. This draws an audience that really, really wants to see you and wants to interact with you. It's very intense. It's a constant flow of people, new people, lots of little kids that you can't see. They just kind of run up at you and they hug you, which is really fun. But sometimes it's kind of scary because you're just standing there and then all of a sudden, they just hit you and you're like, oh hi, nice to see you. I love you too. And there's always like lots of kind words that are said. We really haven't like had any trouble. I mean, there's always like the gaggles of teenage boys that like to bark or whatever. But honestly, the other people on the trail, I've seen them tell them off. So it's a good safe environment, and it's just a really fun interaction with people.
A note about so you're talking about the windstorm we had this. That's actually the biggest outside is one of the biggest challenges we have to plan for, and building go outside is kind of different.
Yeah, actually, out of the like 2.5 weeks that we're open, we're closed for.
We usually reach about maybe a quarter of our days.
Yeah, we lose a quarter of our days just because it's too windy, it's raining, whatever, and we've got to close down. So, yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, he's the one that has to
I
deal
got
with
one eye
it.
on the weather 5 times a day.
Yeah, if the weather's coming, they all rush out there and cover whatever they can with trash bags, and like go pick up things that need to be picked up, and sometimes we just have to leave it and see what happens. We haven't had anything significantly damaged other than Castle Fear.
Not really. Yeah, we've been okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what else?
I don't know, we've got the dragons over here, some of you may have seen them down outside. Yes?
Off season, I assume that a challenge would be storage. I was thinking, what is that process? What's an off season process like?
Off season, usually we're thinking about next season, of course. No, it's storage. I built a building and put stuff in, so it's like I think it's 25 by 80, and then that's full now. So we started on another building, but yeah, it's stored. Really, it's if you do the math on the amount of time it built versus the setup time and the tear down time and the building time, it's pretty insane because we're really only open. If say we're open maybe 12 days before Halloween for 2 hours a night, that's a pretty compact amount of time for the amount of effort that it takes to do it. So
Yeah.
we're thinking probably next year, we will, not this year, but next year, we probably will be extending our calendar to try and get maybe 3 weeks in to get a few more days because, sometimes when we get a nasty slumber or rainstorm, when we go away for 3 or 4 days, it takes quite a bit out of the calendar.
And actually, the timing of like TTFC having a Halloween theme and all this is kind of funny. In 2026, so this year, unfortunately, Drachenmoor will not be open. 2025.
Yeah, well,
This year, I don't know what year it is. This year, 2025, Drachenmoor will be closed for our first break in since what, 20?
I was gonna say COVID, but
Yeah, we actually did do something for COVID. We had we didn't have people come through the yard, but for trick or treating, we had little zip lines, and we would have people come up to a line. We would attach candy or a treat or something, and we send it down the zip line, and people would grab it. So it was still social distancing and stuff, but it was still a really fun thing. So yeah, we did that in 2020. I don't know when the last time we had a break from it was. When we first moved to the house. So,
But yeah, so this year, Drachenmoor is closed this year for a break for us because we actually were a little too successful last year in terms of the number of people coming through. The line to get in was almost a half mile long on our busy nights, and it caused some pretty serious issues with traffic. The sheriff was called. We ended up having to pay actually off-duty police officers to come and monitor and help. And so we're trying to put together a little bit different model so that we can control the amount of people that are there at one time. We've been talking about doing maybe something like time ticketing to try and limit the number of people because we can handle a line a couple 100 yards long, maybe or 150 yards long. But beyond that, it just there's no parking in the neighborhood. The neighbors are getting upset. I don't want to anger the neighbors.
yeah, we want to keep the neighbors in good graces, and I think they all like us a lot. So they act like it. There's a couple that for some reason they don't like dragons. Did you want to talk about your first experience?
I wasn't my first time being Drachenmoor. I was, being part of the fandom around 2019, getting my suit, going to con and all that. Seeing this as being good friends, meeting them, and the first time being in Joplin because I live in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, Kansas, and it's like 30 minutes. So, and I had fun, met some amazing friends going with that, and seeing my parents going to over to Drachenmoor and
Yeah, your
helping,
parents helped
helped out, and they're excited to see that, and they love it and everything.
Did you notice a difference in like the first experience, like the cons versus?
Oh yeah, it just feels more crazy. It's like it's like going like this is doing about the first year parade, but the people are the parade watching and
The
taking
people on the
pictures.
parade. Yeah.
So it's great. I love it. And meeting new people coming in every year and stuff and all that.
Yeah, each year it draws in new people that hadn't come last year, so we kind of build a friend group a little bit and stuff. And I think pretty much every year, the people that have come to the previous year have come to the next one.
And it's exciting to see little kids get excited, senior suits or worst times they just get jump scared.
Then some of them do get really scared. Like you're just standing there like, oh. They get over it.
Sometimes you're the one getting jump scared with kids.
Yeah, when the kids just run up to you. Yeah.
May I ask where you located? Like where that is located?
Yeah, we're in Joplin, Missouri. It's on Crow Road. The link tree actually has like, it's got our address, it's got like our
Okay.
Facebook, all our socials, it's got like donation type stuff on it. So we update the Facebook regularly, so we'll let you know like when it'll be open and stuff, or if we're gonna have certain things going on.
Okay.
No, I'm from Baxter Springs, so I never knew about this.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you should come to it, and we don't. The furries is not just for fursuiters. Like we have other people come, like other furries, because we need handlers as well. So if you're interested in that,
Usually post when it's gonna happen on the Kansas farmers.
yeah, usually like so. I'll post like advertising in the Kansas and Missouri like there's Discord with like a whole bunch of people in it, and then I'll post in like the Facebook and I'll be like, hey, fursuiters, yeah.
Consider joining the Northwest Arkansas furries as well, 'cause that's pretty close.
That is pretty close. Yeah, for people. Yes. Yeah.
If we have lots and lots of fursuiters that want to come, we might do a couple of it. We typically did one furry night, but I mean, I'm completely open to doing it, several nights, or even if someone just wants to come in ones or twos or threes, we've always got positions placed in the QB.
It would be cool because we're from NWA and we used to run a house line and we used to like scare actors.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah, that's your thing.
yeah, we should reach out a little bit further.
Yes.
This is a lot of excitement.
Yeah, we didn't even think about it. It's just kind of.
Well, we definitely, whenever we open back up in 2026, we definitely want to do it where we have more and more regular actors, regardless of what if you're a mad scientist, if you're a Sally, if you're a furry, or whatever. We don't really care. We'd like to have some live interaction people. So anybody who wants to get with us and volunteer, we're all about that.
Yeah, if that's your thing, if you like to do acting, now we don't do like, the scary jump scare. It's going to be more like, kind of creepy interacting
big.
Wow.
Damn.
There was some technical
So usually these guys are at the front gate to greet people, and generally this is miraculous. He usually roars, but of course he decided to go mute today on me.
Oh my god. Oh, that's so I adore him. He's so polite. Ah.
What is it? The little one roars.
This is made out of like foam and silicone, so they actually showed us like work in progress pictures of how they made these. Because we were really picky about the colors, we just had them custom made. So it's made out of like carved upholstery foam, I think. And then they carve out the scales, and then they coat it with like a liquid silicone. Yes, it's all custom made. And then there's kind of like the mechanism inside is kind of like a bicycle grip, but like turned the opposite way, and then there's an extra little thing that I can use to close the eyes. The mechanisms in these actually aren't the best. If we knew what they were going to be like, we'd probably just gone with a different one. They're really stiff. Yeah, the springs inside of here are like, it takes a lot of strength to just open and close the mouth or open and close the eyes. And it takes a little bit of practice to get it going, but they're really neat and they make people really happy.
I was inspired to search these out because several years ago we went to Universal Studios. I don't know if any of you have been there and been to they have a raptor encounter. It's a very, very realistic person in like a full-size raptor suit.
Really?
Extremely realistic. Yeah, like scary realistic. So I was inspired by that, and I sought out this place called OnlyDinosaurs.com. Apparently they make only dinosaurs.
I was gonna say technically that's a dragon.
Severe life-size dragon.
They got eyes that match too. She knew.
Adapting real life things, I just kind of do whatever. So that was kind of my rendition of what I could draw. Yeah.
Are they worth buying?
Cool.
Yeah, they're worth buying.
And if any of you guys want to come up and take a look at the books here, these sample books, and take a look about these, you can, we have a bunch of these that we can sell directly. We don't have to with us, but you can also put these on Amazon.
How much does everything cost for the animatronics and
You want the real answer?
I don't think we need that.
I have a question for the guy who's just buying the show. How heavy is it exactly?
So most of the weight sits on your shoulders, so you don't notice it so much. It's just the whatever you have to hold on the end of your arm. It's probably about maybe 20 pounds or so. So it's after 25, 30 minutes, it kind of gets heavy a little bit because you can build up your Popeye arm after a while. But it's really the most difficult part is working the mechanism in here. It tends to kind of like put blisters on your fingers because of the way that the mechanism is. It's kind of just bare steel, and I've never really found a good way to get it patented very well.
A little bit sharp.
Cover things and use your brain and stuff.
Me? Yeah, we see this is part of our growing paintation. Part of the reason that we're closed this coming year is because in the past it's been basically me, and then my wife helps where she can, and then Rowan also helps. But I mean, really just with a few people to help pick something up if you have a rainstorm, it's a challenge.
Like I said, we ran a house hunt, and so I guess it was 2 years ago.
3 years ago, we used those tailgating tents from Walmart, and we got a huge windstorm and basically just threw the tent.
Everything inside out.
Walmart has a very generous return policy, so they let us exchange
that's really the only bad thing about these guys. Is their mechanism kind of wears on your fingers after a while.
What tips would you give for someone who wanted to run their own haunted trail?
Well, start small, because there's going to be a lot of dumb tags to this. The props that we made, like we talked about, initially we made virtually everything, because you can make stuff out of you can buy. And usually the result is better, it comes out better. If you put a little thought into it, then you can make things really durable, like the tombstones, those things, they last forever and ever and ever. You can throw them around, they don't weigh anything. So I would say, check out a lot of the online Halloween DIY forums, and you can make a lot of really cool stuff pretty cheap. So, the more stuff you can put out. But as far as if you are going to have a trail, I'd say just don't ever underestimate people. Don't assume that they're going to stay on the trail just because you have an arm. You need to put up a chain to stop them from getting off the trail. That sort of stuff. People are people, and they get excited, and they just totally forget how to behave sometimes.
What would you say mostly attracted people to Drachenmoor?
It's cool.
Yeah, it's just.
The giant dragon in the front yard.
It could be the 16-foot tall dragon. It could have been a star. But no, really, it's also the fact that it's a free attraction and it's an all ages thing. Really, like I said, if you're under 14, then there's really nothing else you can do on Halloween except for trick or treating. So this gives people some way to celebrate before Halloween. And of course, Halloween night we do trick or treating there. We give away really cool stuff. We give away like dragon jewelry and toys, and so it's a good place to trick or treat.
Do you have to be on a certain age to go to this?
No, it's all like that.
No. Yeah, we get absolutely every age from 3 months up to 99 years.
Wow, we have like 3 generations come through, like through
That's like nothing in there sometimes.
Yeah, we have multi-generational people that have been through when they were through. They were kids now.
Like on an actual broken bridge, but I destroyed a friendship bridge, but now I finally got back together.
We're getting pretty close to time. Are there, yes, anyone questions?
Are there going to be opportunities for photos with the dragons?
For photos with the dragon?
Yes, if I wanted to take a photo.
Yeah, you can go there today and take a picture. She's out there all year long.
Oh, I mean these dragons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these two.
Yeah. We got a lot of dragons. So.
Yes, I want to take a photo of my little lady looking at the dragon.
I can't wait to make a persona. I already got a persona of my dragon roots, so I'm trying to make him turn into life with the first system time.
Yeah. Dragons are the best.
Yes, they are.
Undeniable.
Even the King of Reach is the best too, so that's why I'm going to do it too.
Alright, you have any questions or? I think we're about to wrap it up.
Yep, but if you haven't heard this before, go visit us on Facebook or on the scanner bar there. It's really cool.
I'll see you around.